So today I'm walking around this suburb of Tokyo called Ueno, and I mean, it's amazing. I think I feel so blessed to be able to travel, and when I travel anywhere, I don't want to miss any time. I don't want to waste any time. I want to take in as much of that culture and their sights and the people and the food as I possibly can. No, this spot here is beautiful because of the cherry blossom trees in the spring, so not quite yet. But you can see they have this nice fountain in the middle here. The National Museum is behind me. And in the fountain they've got bulbs of different flowers, tulips and such, and those are starting to bloom. So it's a little bit chilly, but it really doesn't get cold enough to freeze. It's right at that limit. So it's a beautiful day. I'm going to walk around. I've been here a few times. I think maybe this is my 5th trip to Japan. And I usually always stop by Ueno in this park here because I like it's a big open mall basically of open space and trees and gardens and museums. They've got a Western Art Museum here. They have a National Museum, National History Museum behind me. So a lot of cultural things to take in. Actually, I'm going to go over to the art museum. They've got a bunch of Vermeers, I think 7 or 8 or 9 Vermeers. So I'm going to go see that. So when I travel, I try to take in museums and just observe the people and just get a feel for the place. I like to shop a little bit for trinkets and stuff, but generally I don't go to shop and the touristy places. I like to go see the culture, eat the food that people eat, and just really enjoy my time and feel like I got a small little understanding of the place. I also bring my sketchbook wherever I go too. It's just fun to, maybe not cover a lot of ground, but just sit in a place for a while and understand a little bit more about its rhythms and its people and spend some time with your sketchbook. I also like to do rubbings with my sketchbook, so I'll take a piece of paper and so I found some cool Japanese symbols. I don't read Japanese, but I put my sketchbook up on a piece of paper up on the carved stone, and with a piece of Conte crayon did a rubbing of that. So I have that in my sketchbook, which is pretty cool. I'll show you that in a little bit here. So anyway, when you travel, make the most of it. Go to art supply stores that are local there, find what kind of cool stuff they have, check out the museums, sketch the people, eat the food. Wow, and then, especially if you take your sketchbook, when you come back, or years down the road, when you look back at that sketchbook, you'll have immersed yourself in the scene that you were drawing, and you'll remember that day. So that's a real gift you can give yourself, I think, to not only become a better artist and practice sketching, but have a great memory, a memory you can't really buy any other way, in your sketchbook for years and years to come. So I went for a little hike to find this art supply store I thought sold paint, and there's a couple of them. They didn't sell, well, what they sell is pigment that's used for Japanese painting, but they don't mix it in an oil, some type of a resin, but they have all of these cool little jars of every color pigment you can imagine. I don't know what the source of the pigment is, but I'll have to look into that. So I was on a search for some Holbein palette knives, but didn't find that, so that's okay. So I just spent about an hour in this. I'm on the campus of the Tokyo School of the Arts, and they have this cool museum over here behind me, right there. And it was free admittance into the museum. And gosh, they had this great, not many paintings, but this room full of paintings and drawings, basically studies from this artist in France named Raphael Collins. So I had never heard of him, but there's a Japanese artist that studied under Collins, and the museum here has in their collection works of both artists. So, but there were more of studies for larger works, which is really cool. So I had my sketchbook and took that in with me, and I couldn't take any photos or video, or I'd show you that, but I'll take a photo of the drawings. But there were a couple of there's a sketch of a female nude, and the hand was really amazingly done. So I did a little copy of that in my sketchbook. It was a drawing originally in charcoal. And then there was another full-size painting of a woman that was quite large, a large painting in a reclined position, so I did a quick drawing study of that as well. But after drawing it and studying it and see what edges were sharp, what were hidden, basically how Raphael Collins, this artist, had interpreted the form and captured it, brought me a lot of insight to his process and some really good practices. So I really highly recommend that, because just looking at artwork, you walk away with just a fraction of what you can learn from a piece. It doesn't really matter the artist. Just take a minute and study in a sketchbook. And museums, I've never been kicked out of a museum from just sitting down and drawing, especially if it's cold or really hot outside. Usually the museums are climate controlled and a nice place to be anyway. So this is the end. I'm gonna leave Ueno in Tokyo. I have to go catch my train to the airport today, but I had a fantastic morning here. Got my fill of the arts and some great little video and even some drawing. Oh, and I just went to the university art supply store and was able to find a couple of Italian-made palette knives. They weren't exactly what I wanted. They had a limited supply, but anytime I can get a well-made palette knife, I'll pick that up. It took me some searching to find this. It was in the basement of the student center, basically, of the art school. But I found it. Now I got two really good palette knives that probably will be in my collection the rest of my life. So, signing out from Tokyo. Bye.